Now we're moving on to turn 9, the penultimate turn, or possibly the last turn, depending on how the Italians do here with their Aegean operations, if they can pull it off. So the situation is still pretty precarious. I think the Italians here, since they're going to get first move, I think their priority really is going to be basically pretty much trying to, they're going to try to defend from here, which I think they're probably just going to do this. They're not, if they lose this oasis, it's annoying, but it's probably not going to, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it's unfortunate. It's going to hurt their victory points a little bit. Their primary concern here is going to be see if they can disrupt the C column, because that has the potential to threaten a large portion of their ports. And while in that fighting, they probably could end up retaking them on the turn 10. They'd rather not have to deal with that problem at all. It's pretty irritating, but we're just going to go right into their event phase. A 2. Oh, that's so good that they didn't get a 4 again. Okay, 2. Colonial troops forward. Recruit deploy 2 Italian colonial units, and we get 5 AP. So that's a big deal. 5 AP. Let me make sure all of our naval units here are back on the table. Oh, that's wonderful. 2 colonial units. Okay, I think the best we have here... Oh, no, wait. I think we might as well get these 2. Yeah, these 2 light infantry. We'll put them in Tobruk. Seems like a decent spot to help them stave off attacks. Yeah, then we move on to the AP generation. We still have 4 leaders on the field, so that's 4. So that's going to put them up to 9. We have 1, 2, 3. Well, even if I don't need to keep going, because after that point, we're already at the maximum 12. So that's pretty much it for that. We go right to the March phase. Or excuse me, recruitment phase, not March. Recruitment phase. I feel like it would be a good idea to do just a little bit of recruitment. Now we need to make sure we have 2 points left over to conduct Aegean operations. At the end of our turn, we need to make sure we have 2. Because it should be 2 to do it. On the right. Let me just double check. Special units MPG. No, this is naval movement. It's not where is it? Where is the rule 27? Aha. Fleet active. Ottoman interest in the Aegean to affect AP. Recruiting and game length. Requires the expenditure of 2 AP. It probably boosts any or all naval support gun markers for it. Yeah. And then when there's a chart, we roll on it, but it's 2. Yeah, and that's pretty much the main gist of it. Let's see. All right, so what do we want to do? Do we want to put maybe a few... Yeah, let's get a couple of these to shore up. Well, those are kind of expensive. Then again, so if we're going to spend 2 points, we spend it on the light infantry. And I think I just want to reinforce... well, you know what? I definitely want to put at least 1. So I'm going to spend 2 points for at least 1. To get 1 light infantry here into the B column, because we're going to want to use them. Then, do I want to actually buy more, or do I just want to shuffle guys around through some naval movement to help cover these spots? Let me think here, because we got, how many units do we have here? We got 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, no, 7 units. So we could maybe a couple to Benghazi, or we can also recruit some static units to kind of help bolster a bit. Yeah, I mean, how many static units? We only got 2. Could spend 1. could spend one more to get a base here just for extra help. We've already got one static unit in Benghazi and you can't add more, so... okay, we'll spend 2 points. So we'll get one static unit here, one static unit in Derna. No, actually we'll put that guy into... It makes more sense to put him into Tobruk. And then we'll put one base token over here, just for a little extra. And then, let's see. I don't think we actually want to buy anything else. So let's, because we want to, so we'd have 6 points to play with the march, and we may need those 6 points. Because we're going to do a little bit of naval movement just to shuffle some forces around. Oof. Yeah. It's going to be a little tricky. I might just end up leaving Girioni to die because there's only one more turn anyway. Potentially only one more turn. So I'd rather just have him out there just to kind of block some movement, slow it down a bit. All right, yeah, let's. Because I definitely feel like I should get a blocking force. Because okay, even if B column was to move in, intercept. It'd still be one, two, three. They might get enough to still be able to strike it like Benghazi, or possibly it would require a lot of AP, but maybe even Derna. No, I didn't actually think about this. I never put a base on here, right? I'm actually gonna spend another. Oh wait, I don't have engineers. I should have been doing that. I didn't think that one through. That's a shame. I'm not gonna worry about it then. It's some victory points we might lose, but at this point it's too late. I should have been doing that before. We do have an engineer over here, so you know what? We are gonna spend a point for the extra base. Actually, it's the last base anyway. So we'll get another base here in Zerata because it's more points and more defensible. All right, we'll move on to the march phase. We're gonna spend we need to shuffle a little bit of guys around. I think we're gonna drop another infantry here. So that's one. Spend another one to shuffle some more Derna guys. I think we're gonna wanna put, well, you know what? I'm actually going to hold back on the rest of that for now because I think we need to make those that attack up in the mountains. We need to see how successful we can be with our B column here. Oh, they had room for another guy. We're going to need all the firepower we can get. So let's. Do we want to cart him over? I think we might want to cart over the supply wagon. Or, no, we can actually just port. It'll cost one, but we'll port over the supply wagon from C. Ooh, okay. C column. C column's pretty hefty. Though, I'm wondering about something. What if we just move in as a blocking position? Yeah, what if we just moved in there as a blocking position and then just moved and then just moved maybe the A column up into another, up to Mizada, and just kind of blocked him in. The Mizada would be vulnerable because they have uprising markers. And we won't be able to build entrenchments. It's a tough call. I'm gonna have, no matter what I do, I'm gonna be taking some kind of risk. And I feel like it's worth it to, I think it's worth it to be aggressive in our risk. So we're going to pay 1, and we're going to go for it. Here we go. We're going to launch an attack onto C column. The mountain will be a -2, but oh well. So that's going to be, now we can add our planes because it is within 5 hexes of a base. So that's going to give the Italians a +3 to their battle advantage versus the +2 to the Turks, which is important. And the Italians are close to their supply lines, so they are going to expend for the extra CRT, because they need to do that to try to hopefully punch through. And I think with that, are the Ottomans going to... They're also close to their base, to a base at least. But they're going to be they're at the disadvantage on the battle. I think they're going to withhold for now, and they're going to count on being able to just inflict more damage back to the Italians, either because they're going to win battle advantage or because the Italians are just going to inflict a lot less because of the mountain. So let's see, +3 for the Italians, +2 for the Turks. Okay, so the Turks get it. Battle advantage, Ottomans. So our total, we have 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 9, totally, 11. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was... No. Oh my god, I'm totally losing it. Oh, it's been a long day at work. I'm sorry. 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17. 17 versus... Oh, it might have even been worth it to go to... Oh, no, it wouldn't matter. Never mind. 17. 17. So they're rolling on the 15 to 20 table. So let's see. All right. Italians are hoping for a low roll. A 3. That might be low. Although it's low enough to keep the Italians in the fight. A 3 is 3 hits. Okay, it's not too bad actually. Not too bad. 3 hits. So what's gonna get us the least amount of damage? Okay, 1. Lose. No matter what, we'd be losing 4 after that, so we'll do that. That's the least amount I think we can get. Okay, that hurt, but it's not the worst. And now the Italians respond. 10, 14, 18, 22, 25, 27. So that puts them on the 21, 27, -2 on the track, so they're on the 10 to 14. They roll 1, which is 2 hits. So, you know what, they want to keep battle advantage, so they're just going to eliminate 1 of their cavalry. And that's it. That'll be into that phase. Now, let's see what happens with those Italian planes. A 1, crash, eliminate the air support marker. So, air support is gone. That's it. Can't come back. That's ouch. But oof. Italians they're gonna push forward again. This time it's a +1 for their roll and a +2 still for the Ottomans. So Ottomans still have it. Ottomans respond. They were at 17, now they're at 15, so they're on the same table. 3 again, so that's 3 points. So it's going to be eliminate, and it's going to cost them in combat power, but they might need the battle advantage. No, we'll just do it. Okay, there, it's fine. We're going to keep that because we're hitting back now, so we need to keep that. 10, 13, 15, 19, 21. Okay, so it's still on the 21, 27, still rolling on the 10 to 14 table. Oh, a 6. That is a game changer. That's a 4 plus a retreat, which is a major victory because it's against 4 more units, and that's going to give them an extra AP, which is good because that was the last one we had there. 4 hits onto the Ottomans, who still didn't use their supplies. They were doing pretty all right, so they're gonna lose that, and I think they're going to just ditch the light infantry. And then they gotta retreat. How many spaces are they retreating? 3. 1, 2, all that, and they're gonna go 1, 2, 3. They're actually gonna go back a bit more. Yeah. And the Italians could occupy the mountain. They don't have a supply, so they're not going to. They're going to use their last point here to go back to Zanzari and just kind of hold position. And that'll end the Italian march phase, and they're going to go to rally. They're not spending anything on rally, and then now they're going to spend their last 2 points for their Aegean operations. They're going to commit all 3. All 3. Let's see. So we're rolling on the 3 table. So we have an IN, roll of 1 is an indecisive naval action. Ottomans gain 1 AP. TN is tactical naval victory, gain 3 AP. Ottomans lose 1. And then the decisive, which is 4 up. Decisive, Italians gain 4 AP. Ottomans lose 2, and the Italians capture the Aegean Islands. And if they capture the Aegean Islands, the Italian player can choose to end the game after the end of turn 9, and the Ottoman player can no longer recruit Turkish units. So let's see. Here we go. We want that 4 up for the Italians, and they get it. They get their decisive naval victory, so they immediately gain 4 AP. Now, one of their naval assets must stay in the Aegean, so they're out the Aegean. That they can only have a maximum of 2 now. They gain the 4 AP. The Ottomans don't have any AP to lose, but they can't recruit. I'm going to move the Turkish units directly into the eliminated box because they are out, and that's not great for them either. But with that extra 4 bump, and unfortunately it's the end of the game, but it depends on how these Ottomans go. The Italians might want to drag it out that last turn and see if they can really just hammer it, but we'll see. Next up is going to be the Ottoman event phase. Let's see what the Ottomans get here. This might make a big difference. A 4. A 4 is continue campaign, recruit and deploy 1 Ottoman supply unit, and they get 3 AP. Let's go over here. 1 supply unit, so I guess let's grab a Sunni guy over here. We'll add him over to the B column over here. I think that makes sense. I just realized the A column, while strong, doesn't have a supply unit either. That's potentially actually a pretty big problem. I didn't think that through when I built that army. They kind of need to. They either be stuck there or they have to go for a decisive engagement with the C column, which is pretty beefy still. Didn't think that through. That's risky. You might have to do it anyway, but I don't know. Well, all right, let's do AP generation, see how much points we have to work with, and then I can go from there to decide what I want to do here. So we have 4 leaders on the field. So that brings them up to 7. They don't have any port cities with no port cities with bases either. Oases with bases. We have 1, 2. It's not a base. No, we have 2, so that's 2 points. And then just occupied oases. We have 1, 2, 3. So that's worth 2 points because we round up, so that's okay. They have 11. They got a lot to work with. Now we go into recruitment phase. What do they want to do? What do they want to do? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the I thought there was a static unit for some reason. No, a column actually does have room, so we actually totally can recruit a supply unit. Oh, I'm so tired today. Okay, so they do have a supply unit. Okay, they can go on the offensive then, for sure. So if they pick up these guys, that's going to be 2 more, so it'll be 1, 2. Yeah, so that'll bring it up to 7. So we could have 1 more, so let's recruit cavalry. We're going to at least try to capture that oasis, and I think we might take the fight to C, but I'm not positive on that yet. C column, I mean, we still have enough forces there. We could theoretically batter our way to maybe Tripoli, but it's going to cost at a minimum 3 points. We can take Tripoli, and they're so weak now. I mean, we need to hit basically three places, if possible. At the very least, we're gonna need 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 point to hit here. We may need to hit it multiple times to actually achieve victory. So that's a whole other can of worms there. So even if, let's say we have the best result possible, we force them to retreat 1. Okay, so that was 1. You know, that's not even really realistic necessarily, because while powerful, like, it's pretty large, but it's not like crazy powerful, even if we expended the supply unit. So it's gonna be like excuse me, let's just say we have to do 2. We have to expend 2 for that. It leaves us with 4 extra if we count the 3 that we're using from the C, which be 1, 2. Let's say we squeak in, that's 3. We may need 4 to get through there. It's cutting it so close. So reinforcing that's just kind of out of the question. So then the Italians would just go to turn 10 and just sweep them out. And possibly even, if they did that, they might even push into Mizda or Alut. At the very least, Mizda, it's close. Gaharian, like, the best we could do is get rid of the forts and deny a couple extra victory points. Maybe. I mean, we could do that theoretically. But I don't know if it's even worth it trying. Because it's just, in the end, we just lose more than we gain. You know, so if we denied them the extra 2 victory points from destroying those bases and clearing out, actually, Ain Zara, but they'd be able to just redo it again. I mean, even with just the 4 they got from the Aegean operations, they'd be able to redo it again, reoccupy those, and probably push farther and end up with more. Yeah. I don't think we can. And we still have a column way down here at the oasis at Sakna. Which means that if we did move A, that would end up losing those 2. Yeah, there's just no way to, no matter what we did to the counterattack, if the Italians go to turn 10, they'd be able to counterattack and probably make up all of the loss and end up getting farther, because they wouldn't have to try to fight through. So it just, the best I think we can actually do is getting rid of his Italian base in the Oasis. That's really the best option we have. Let's at least move C column somewhere where they're more defensible. Gosh. This is such a bad situation. All right, we just got to push for it. So let's go bring the B column up to collect these guys. And that would have to end their movement because you can't keep going. When you do that, you collect those kind of guys like that. So it's unfortunate that we got this going on too. Spend another AP to move forward, and we're going to attack at Gironi. So it's going to be a +1 for both. Italians are just going to retreat if they win it. They do. So the Italian general retreats, but it forced them to. It only goes 1. It's actually kind of good for us because it means that the Ottomans are going to have to. Oh no, wait. They're still because they advanced, so they're still adjacent. They actually don't have to spend 1. I think when you're adjacent, if I remember correctly. Which now that I'm kind of remembering that, I think I did that wrong now a couple times. I think it's a 0 AP to attack, which would change how I did those resources. It would have made it a little more fluid, but too late. Too late. I'm just going to keep playing it like I was, even though that is most likely the incorrect way. But, no, you know what? The Ottomans are already kind of a disadvantage. No, I already did it. Fuck it. Screw it. Screw it. All right, we'll go at them. Same deal. Okay, this time the Ottomans have the advantage. They, no matter what they roll, just with this amount of forces, they're gonna destroy Garani. He is out. He is gone. Spend another AP. We advance over, and we're going to attack into the base here at the Oasis of Girobar. Well, anyway, so it's going to be a +1 for each force because I'm only counting leaders once. I think you can only count 1 anyway, and these guys have 1 unit that's injured. We'll just call it that. So +2 for the Italians and +1 for the Ottomans. That's a tie. The defender has a base, so that is going to go with the Italian battle advantage. The Ottomans did not use an uprising because the fort negates the uprising anyway, so there was no point to do it. And with that, the Italian total strength is 8. So they're going to be rolling an 8 on the 8 or the 6 to 9 table rather. So they actually get a 6. That's going to be a pretty big deal. But in the meantime, they just got other good rolls, and they actually got the 6. Oh no, this is a disaster. So that's 3 hits and forces a retreat. And the force retreat means that it's an Italian major victory, so they gain 1 AP, and the Ottomans lose 1 AP. And they got to take 3 hits, so they'll get rid of this, and we'll get rid of this weaker cav unit. And they got to retreat. 6. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total disaster. Oh my gosh. Oh. We just gotta, okay, you know what? We're gonna buckle down. We ain't kill cowards. Let's do it again. This time, +2 to our battle advantage roll versus the +1 of the Italians. Come on, come on. Okay, Ottoman battle advantage. There we go. That's what we needed. Now we're going to be at a -1 on our CRT because of the fort. And we did not expend our supply because it just... I mean, we probably should have, but... Oh, well. What do we got here? We got, okay, 8, 10, 13, 14, 17, 20, 23. So that's the 21-27, drops down to the 15-20. On the 15-20 table, got a 4. That's respectable. That's 4 hits on the 15-20 table. So with that, we can destroy, let's see, let's get rid of the engineers and the static unit. And now the Italians respond with their 4, which will put them on a 3 to 5 table. 5. Oh my god! For a second, I thought it was a 6 again, and I was just gonna. Oh my god! All right, 3 hits. It's pretty bad though. We're gonna get rid of the engineers, and we'll take a hit on one of these cavalry. You guys are gone forever. Okay, let's do it again. Attacking again. Still should be okay. So that's +2. Oh no, it's only +1 for the Ottomans this time, and +1 for the Italians. You know what? I haven't really used the tower a little bit, so let's go for it. That's a tie, which means that the Italians have battle advantage, and they roll on the 3 to 5 table. Once again, just thought it was going to be 6. 3 to 5. Okay, 1 is a 0, so they didn't do anything. The Ottomans respond with their 4, 7, 8, 16, 19. 15 to 19 drops to the 10 to 4. A 2. 10 to 4, that's 2 hits. So that will be enough to destroy that unit and take the Oasis. But, wow, that was an expensive attack. And they only got 1 AP left. I don't think there's really anything they can try to do. I mean, what's the slowest unit in A? I'm not counting that. It's 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, they don't have enough AP to hit column A. They could try to hit C, but it just means the Italians could extend, and they'll spend their last point to rally, I guess. And I think they're just going to call it there. And are the Italians going to continue? I think not. I think this looks like a pretty decent victory, and I don't think they have any reason to continue on this campaign. I mean, they might theoretically be able to get a little bit more, but it also just leaves them more vulnerable. Yeah, I think, okay, extending it to 1 more turn probably would be the optimum thing to do, but since there are also already certain things that kind of chunked already in the rules, and it wasn't like terribly bad, but you know, a couple things that messed up slightly. But mostly, I just like there's so many like, you know what? I'm just gonna say that I'll give my analysis in a second. Let me just put it this way: the Italians think it's a good time to end the game, and they will right now, the end of turn 9. Let's go to victory points, and let's see what happened. How did this campaign turn out? Okay. End game victory. The end of game 10, or of course is the rule for the Aegean, as it says here. Okay. Tripoli and Benghazi are worth 5 each. The Italians have both, so that's 10. Each port town that the Italians control, or both players add their total, and then we do the thing. But let's do the Italians first. So the Italians have 10. Then each port town. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, not sorry. That's not counting Tripoli and Benghazi. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's another 10 points. And then if they have a base, we add another point. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. Or so we don't count. I guess we don't count the bases on there, so it's 5. So that's 25 points. Each non-port town, each non-port town is worth 1. Let's see. The Italians have one. It's an oasis. So they have one non-port town under their control. So that's going to be. So that's one. And then oases are worth 2. So that's. So 1 from the town, 3. And 5. So that's a total of 30 points. So it's easy to remember. Italians, 30 points. The Ottomans, same rules except each oasis with a base. So the Ottomans have 1, 2, these are towns, 2 towns. 2 towns, so that's 2 points. And then for oases, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, so that's 10 points, so 12. And then each base is worth 1 on the oases, that's 2, so they have 14. So 30 minus 14, 20, so it's 16. So 16 points for the Italians, which gets a marginal victory. So there you go. The Italians won a marginal victory. They needed about 4 more points for operational victory. Some of that's my fault in that I could have left troops in Barca. I could have spent a point to sneak guys over to Bardia. Could have moved this guy here. So I could have fairly easily eked out. I could have left the guy in Hoon. Could have fairly easily eked out a few more points to make it an operational victory. Most of that's just me not thinking far enough ahead about victory point stuff. I was usually just focused on battle. But it's an Italian marginal victory, which is not... I think operational victory is the historical result, so I did a little worse than the historical result. Not surprising. It's tough. So I think the biggest thing with this game for me is that... Well, let's get this out of the way. This is obviously a game that's very much meant to be played opposed. And trying to do this by yourself, kind of trying to play in both things, is a little tricky. Because of the sheer number of options that you have and how you want to try to figure out the best ways to attack your opponent and to try to disrupt them. So it's a lot going on, a lot of calls. You're basically operating in two theaters that are each sort of subdivided by the coast. So you have the Serencia and the Tripolitania theaters, and they're segregated here by the coast. Like Tripolitania, apart from that one thing after we knocked out Kamal, we had that one trip down the interior here in Tripolitania. Apart from that, it was all confined to the coast because this mountain, these rough hexes, so the Italian player has a choice here of I tried to do it by operating on both, which is kind of what they did historically. They could have, of course, really heavily concentrated on just clearing, and I actually thought about doing this in the beginning and decided to go for the historical one because I thought it might be a little more fun to film, which I still think is true. They really could have just kept most of their forces, say they hit here, either side really works, but let's just say they hit Tripolitania and just muscle their way down, occupy all the towns, spend the resources to move guys out, get them back out, and just push down, probably end up fighting battles down here, maybe a bit up here, and just slowly work their way across as best they can. The problem is that there's actually not a lot of time in this game. Even if we go to the full 10 turns is really not that much time. So they kind of got to go fast. And that's what I think the trickiest thing to balance on here as the Italian player is the time's not on your side. You have a lot of targets to hit as fairly quickly to try to establish your positions. You need to get those bases up as fast as possible on the coast, or you just get such a trickle of AP. It's a problem. On the flip side, the Ottomans, something they definitely should have done in the very beginning, and I didn't do this, and now I see after playing this a few times, like they really right away should have been spending their action points in the very beginning rather than trying to possibly fight delaying actions on the coast, yes, but don't try to fight a decisive engagement on the coast. Instead, just get as many static units or tribal units as much as you can out and occupy these oases and towns, because you need to get those points generated so that you can get big bases built, everything ready for the long game here. I didn't do that enough in the beginning, but despite that, I still think the Ottomans actually still put up a pretty decent show of the fight. They would have had even a few extra points if they left a guy here in Yalo. That would have been a good idea. Anyway, overall though, I do like this game a lot. I think that has a lot of interesting strategic and tactical decisions to make, and that really appeals to me. Just on that basis alone, even though I'm not like crazy about this system, its mechanical systems, the AP generation and the kind of flying columns moving, which is a good simulation for this conflict and for the one it was previously used, a game called Windhoek. I'm not exactly sure to pronounce it, but it's German West Africa in the First World War. Similar-ish type of thing with small bodies of troops moving long distances fairly quickly, light engagements, that kind of thing, and that's kind of happening here more or less, except for the very beginning when you get a lot of major battles in the beginning, and then it kind of mid-game kind of tampers down a bit, and then you can in this case it picked up a lot towards the end. But so good game, would recommend. I'd like to play it opposed sometime and really get a feel for that kind of flexible power here, and flexible strategy when you're dealing with an opposing power, and how they're gonna, how an opponent would move pieces and do things, just because it's hard to force yourself out of your own head when you're coming up with these things and trying to come up with counter strategies, because it's like you kind of know what they're going to do, and it's a hard mindset to get into. And I did get it a little bit here, though I could occasionally, I was slipping back. But anyway, that'll be the wrap here for the end of the Italian-Ottoman War, 1911-1912. Stay tuned for the next one, the War of Turkish Liberation, 1920 to 1922. Almost it's not the same system, but a direct sequel in history. So that'll be fun. All right. Catch you next time.